All right, K-1 teachers, this one's for you. We all know how incredibly important it is to build strong readers right from the very beginning. So today, we're going to do a deep dive into one of the most powerful foundational skills out there, teaching onsets and rhymes. We're going to break down exactly how to teach this standard to really set your students up for reading success.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll cover the why this skill is so important. Then we'll decode the standard itself so we're all speaking the same language. After that, it's all about practical classroom strategies, and we'll even walk through one activity step by step. And finally, we'll talk about how to check for understanding. Okay, first things first. Let's get right to the heart of it. Why should we dedicate our precious instructional time to this one specific skill? Well, because it is truly one of the most fundamental building blocks for everything that comes next in a child's journey to becoming a reader.
This is the big question, right? This is the core challenge for us as early literacy teachers. We have to build a solid bridge between the sounds our students hear every day and the letters they see on a page. And guess what? Onsets and rhymes are a huge part of that bridge.
This quote just nails it. The key takeaway here is that we're basically teaching our students to be word detectives. When they can break words into these two simple parts, they start seeing and hearing these predictable chunks, like word families. And that makes figuring out new words so much easier down the line.
All right, so we've got the why down. Now let's dig into the what. To teach this standard really well, we have to be super clear on the vocabulary. So let's just do a quick breakdown of the key terms.
The onset, well, it's just the beginning sound of a single-syllable word. It's everything that comes before that first vowel sound. That's it. So in a word like stop, the onset would be sta.
And the rhyme is simply the rest of the word, starting with the vowel. A really great way to think about it is as the word family part of the word. So in stop, the rhyme is op. You put it together, you've got st, op.
And here is the classic example we all know and love. Cat. The first sound, k, that's your onset. And the word family part, at, that's the rhyme. You can just see how breaking it down this way makes the structure of the word so much clearer for our little learners.
Okay, with those terms locked in, let's talk about the two key skills students need. The first one is blending. Think of this as the putting it together skill. So you give them the parts, say the onset, sh, and the rhyme, ark, and they blend them together to say the whole word, shark.
And then you've got segmenting, which is, you guessed it, the exact opposite. This is the breaking it apart skill. You give them the whole word, like mop, and their job is to break it into its onset and rhyme, op. They're really just two sides of the very same coin.
All right, we've nailed down the why and the what. Now for the really fun part, the how. Let's jump into some super practical, hands-on strategies you can literally start using in your classroom tomorrow. The absolute key here is to make this learning multisensory and active. Get your students using their hands. They can clap or do a little karate chop for the onset and rhyme. Use picture cards for fun sorting games. You can even use simple things like colored blocks or tiles, maybe one color for the onset, another for the rhyme, to make these sound concepts totally concrete. Okay, let's zoom in on one of those ideas and do a bit of a deep dive. Using magnetic letters is an incredibly effective and really engaging way to teach onsets and rhymes. Let's look at exactly how this works.
This strategy card just lays out the whole activity so perfectly. Your goal is really simple. You want students to actually touch and move the sounds to create new words. With just a few magnetic letters and a little whiteboard, you can take this abstract idea of sound manipulation and make it completely hands-on. So look at how this progresses. First, you set the rhyme on the board. Let's say you put up at. Then you hand a student an onset, like the letter C, and they slide it over and blend it to make cat. But here's where the real magic happens. You have them change the onset. Swap that C for an S to make set, then a P for pat. This is when students get that amazing aha moment. They see that just by changing one little sound, they can make a whole new word. And for a challenge, you can bring in digraphs like sha.
So you've taught the lesson, you've done all the fun activities, but how do you actually know if it's sinking in? Let's talk about some quick and really effective ways to assess this skill.
This chart is basically your cheat sheet. For your kindergartners, you're using simple onsets. You might say, blend these sounds, b, ig, and you're listening for them to say big.
By first grade, you can see how it gets a little more complex. You start using digraphs like sh in shark or duh in dodge. These are just super quick checks you can do one-on-one, and they give you so much valuable data in just a few seconds. And really, that's the ultimate goal here. We practice blending and segmenting over and over and over again, so that it becomes second nature for them. When a student can automatically see the at chunk in cat and hat and sat, they are so far along the path to becoming fluent, confident readers.
So there you have it. You've got the why, the what, and the how. The only question left is, where are you and your students going to start? Will it be the and family, the ip family? My advice, just pick one, grab those magnetic letters, and start building some words.